I'll just connect from the laptop only. So we'll do from here. Okay. Yeah, is it better now? Can you hear me? Okay, good. So let's go to the 3.2. Yeah. Let's see. So you tried some questions in 3.2?
So 6th and 7th.
6th and 7th question is doubtful for you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
No problem. Let's discuss the 6th and 7th part. 3.2. Okay, fine. So sine of 765, right?
Yes, sir.
So how do you do this? 765 sine 7. So we need to find in which quadrant it comes now. You know? Now 7.
So can we first?
Yeah, tell me.
So can we first divide it into like n pi form and then?
That also you can do that. Yeah. N pi is something you want that, but okay. So n pi means 180 degree. Pi is 180 degree, right? So
Yes, sir.
765 you divide with 180 degree, you will get the quotient. Quotient and the remainder you get. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So how much the quotient, how much remainder coming? First find out that. Then I'll tell you.
Yes, sir.
First you divide the 765 divide by 180, you will get the quotient, you know?
So we can write like sine 765 is 4 pi plus 45 degree.
Excellent. 4 pi plus 45 degree. Good. Write down
4
this.
equal to 0.
4 pi plus 45. Okay. So 4 pi means came to how many circles it did? Tell me.
So 2 circles.
Excellent. 2 circles you did. And plus 45. So plus 45 means in which quadrant it is?
So first quadrant.
Excellent. First quadrant. So basically it's a sine 45 in first quadrant. What is the value of sine 45 now? Sine 45 is as good as equal to sine 765. Isn't it? Geometrically.
So sine 45 is 1 by root 2, right?
Excellent. So answer is 1 by root 2. See, what I'm telling you is that it's just a rotation in the circle. How many times you rotate? See, you rotated 765 degree, which is as good as telling you that it's a 45 degree in the first quadrant only. Right, no?
Okay.
You understood the meaning of it. I just want you to understand the
Yes,
meaning
sir.
of it. Huh? So however, how many times you do the revolution? Finally, it's some angle will be, angle between, actually when you try to, boil it down, so it will be between the 0 to 360 only, any angle.
Yes.
Correct, Tanisha?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Next doubt.
So 7th one.
7th one of the same method, Tanisha. Let's go with a similar method now. 7th one. Now, it just is negative value. Negative value means what? It is going in the clockwise direction, isn't it?
Clockwise direction.
So you want to do in the n pi method. So let's try it with the n pi method only. So again, however we did the 765, you try with 1410 also with the divide with 180 degree and put the quotient and the remainder and negative sign on the top. Understood? Just try it out. We'll see.
Yes, sir.
Hi Vijay, how are you?
I'm good, sir.
Excellent. So where were we for you? We were doing chemistry, right?
Yeah, we're in chemistry. Organic.
Oh yeah. Any questions? Any doubt till now? I think we finished till the homolytic cleavage, right?
Yeah, we have to do nucleophiles and electrophiles.
Oh, substrate and reagent also. Okay, nucleophiles and electrophiles. We need to start with this. Huh? Fine, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the nucleophile and this part now. So first we could understand what is called substrate and what is called reagent, right? Okay, good. Now we need to understand what is called nucleophile and what is called the electrophile. So remember this thing. First thing is you need to remember is the nucleophile is always the it's a nucleus loving. Okay, means the reactive side, whatever the reagent is, that this is going to attack on the substrate, and the substrate, whichever the side, if the substrate has the positive side or is the positive ions on that, so that becomes a nucleophile. Example, the reagent that brings an electron pair to the reactive site is called the nucleophile. Good. Nucleophile is dependent nucleus seeking, and the reaction is then called the nucleophilic. Just write on this part, then I'll explain to you what does it mean.
Which one, sir?
I'll send it to you, this part. I want you to write this part. Yeah, this one. So it's basically basically it's a reagent that brings an electron pair to the reactive site is called the nucleophile. So nucleophile is as we say, is a nucleus lover. So what happens, the reagent is the negative ions, so that is rich of electrons. So when they attack the substrate which has the positive ions on that, then these reagents will bring the electron pair to the reactive side, to the substrate side. So that's why they are called the nucleophile. Understood?
Yes, I understood.
These are also called the nucleus seeking or the nucleophile. Similarly, now one more thing you want to write down is this part, what's called electrophile also. Okay, because electrophile is also important. We need to understand what is electrophile. See, it's contrary to the nucleophile. Now it's electrophile. The reagent that takes away the electron pair from the reactive site is called the electrophile. That means now reagent is having the positive ions, and the substrate is having the anions, that means rich in electrons. So when they go and attack and takes the electron, that becomes the electrophilic. Electron loving reagents are called the electrophilic. Nucleus loving reagents are called the nucleophilic. Is it clear? Understood this part?
Yes, understood.
Excellent, super. So this is the main thing we need to understand in this part. Okay, no problem. Just go through this part, this nucleophilic and electrophiles. Just read out the paragraph so that we don't miss even a single part of it. In case any line which is not clear, let me know. I'll clarify this part. Okay, this is the main thing we need to understand in this part.
Yeah.
Couple of examples are there. Then we'll do the problem based on this part. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tanisha, what's the answer you got? Huh? Yes,
So
7.
when I divide it into advice form, I get 75 plus 150, the whole minus sign with minus sign.
No problem. Whole minus is 750 plus 150. You got it. Correct? Okay.
No, so 75 plus 150.
Okay, 7 pi plus 150. No problem.
Yes.
Now, Tanisha, let's go with the 7 pi. 7 pi comes in which quadrant now?
So
7 pi. 7 times you go pi, then in the clockwise direction. Clockwise direction, try to rotate.
So it's basically 3.5 circle.
3.5 circle. Excellent. So 3.5 circle. Very good. Perfect. So 3.5 circle means it went to the the third and the second quadrant place. Correct? Because 7 pi will lie in there, right? In the
Yes, sir.
third quadrant. Correct. After that, from there 150 degree. 150 degree is
Yes, sir.
basically when you come, basically you are coming to the first quadrant. That means 180 minus 30 degree. Correct? So again,
Yes, sir.
so basically it's like, so it's like again pi minus 130, pi minus 30 degree. That will be 150. So 150 will be in the first quadrant, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Now this becomes the 150 minus fourth. Okay. No, this is how much you got? 7 pi. No, I think something is missing in this part. So it is
So
1410. No, 1410 is how much you calculated? Tell me. Wait, something is missing. Is the calculation correct?
I'll check
1410.
again.
Yeah, 1410 you divide with 180, huh? So you got 7. Okay, no problem. So 7, let's go to your calculation 7 pi. I'll explain to you from the quadrant only, huh? So it will be easy for you. So pi, when you go to the pi, then comes 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, 5 pi, 6 pi, 7 pi. 7 pi is in the third and second quadrant, correct? So 7 pi plus how much you are getting?
So 150 degree.
150. Okay, no problem. So 150 will come, cosec will be, yeah. So cosec, yeah, okay, no problem. So here it will come as the 150 to third quadrant, isn't it? Third quadrant. And not third. So it's basically first quadrant only. 150 degree. Right?
0.
7 pi to 8 pi is in the first quadrant. So, but it's not 8 pi, it's 150 degree. So 150 will come in the, this angle, correct? That is in the first quadrant only. Yeah, correct. It's coming in the first quadrant only. Absolutely correct. Correct, right?
So can we write 150 as 90 degree plus 60 degree?
150 you want to take as 90 plus 60. Yeah, you can take that. No problem. Absolutely.
So I did like 7 pi plus 90 degree plus 60 degree. So then 7 pi will be equal to 0, right?
No, not like that. You can't take the 7 pi plus this one. Okay, there is also one more thing I need to check. Tell you this part. I need to tell you the other part also. That cosec, if whatever the value is coming in the which quadrant, that is as based on the sign convention, whether the sign is positive or the remember all silver teacups we are using, correct? So if it comes in the all silver teacups, if it comes in the fourth quadrant, if it comes in the first quadrant, all the cosec value will be positive only. All the trigonometric value is positive. So basically it's a it's actually as good as cosec 141 cosec 30 degree only, because from the 0 it's a cosec 30 only, 150 plus 30 is 180. So it's as good on the x-axis is making 30 degree. Cosec is minus minus 1410 is actually 30 degree in the first quadrant. Anti-clockwise 30 degree in the first quadrant, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And cosec is positive in the first quadrant. So what is cosec 30 degree?
So 2.
Yeah, answer is positive 2. Are you getting?
So we can't take it 7 pi, right?
7 pi. No, you can take that 7 pi. There is no harm in taking 7 pi. I'll tell you what is the reason. 7 pi you take it. 7 pi 150 you can write 150 you can write it as pi minus 30.
Okay, sir.
So 7 pi plus pi, this become 8 pi minus 30 degree. So
Yes, sir.
negative of 8 pi minus 30. Clear, no?
Yes, sir.
Then finally it's in first quadrant and then it has to be positive. Clear?
Yes.
Next question.
So no doubt from this extent.
No doubt from here? Okay, good. Excellent. Now let's go to the trigonometric function of the sum and the difference of two angles. Now one more thing we want to understand is this identity we got it, sine of negative x is equal to minus sin x and cos of negative x is equal to cos x. Just write down these two things.
Yes, sir.
These two formulas you write down. So sine of negative angle is minus sin x and cos of negative angle is positive sin x, positive cos x. Clear? And
Yes.
let's draw the, yeah. Now our goal is now to prove this function, okay? I want you to prove that compound formula, okay? Sum and the difference of the two angles. So our goal is to prove this one, okay? I'll just send you. Now our goal is to prove cos x plus y is equal to cos x cos y minus sin x sin y. Okay, this is our goal. So quickly draw this figure now. 3.14. Draw the figure 3.14 carefully, unit circle. Then we'll try to understand from here. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Vijay, are done?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any questions, any doubts in this part?
No, sir.
Excellent. Perfect. So basically we gave the couple of examples in this class. Huh? What are the nucleophile example? What are the electrophiles examples? So you just need to write the, the curved arrow notation is used to show the movement of electron pair from the nucleophile to the electrophile. Some examples of nucleophiles are the negatively charged ions with the lone pair of electrons such as the hydroxide ion. So basically I just want you to write down examples. What are the examples of the nucleophiles? One is the OH ions, cyanide ions, and you have the carbanion ions. And then neutral molecules, anyway, that's water is there, NR3 is there, R2NH is also there, that is fine. And write down the electrophiles example. Electrophiles include the carbocations, that means you got it, C plus H3, neutral molecules having functional groups like carbonyl groups, alkyl halides, C3X is a halogen atom, that's fine. So this is okay. Fine, no problem.
Okay.
So let's go to the example problem now. 12.11 now. Yeah? Let's try to understand the 12.11 now. Using curved arrow notation shows the formation of reactive intermolecules when the following covalent bonds undergoes the heterolytic cleavage. So it's going the heterolytic cleavage. Right? So what happens? What is the positive charge? What are the negative charges? You need to mention that. Let's try to understand this part. First one, CS3, SCH3 now. Yeah? Let's try it out now. See, this is we need to understand properly, yeah. Because this is the basic for your organic compounds now. All the reactions will be going through this method only now. Because we need to quickly, differentiate between what is the nucleophile, what is the electrophile, and then which comes and attacks the which substrate.
Yes, done.
Done, Danisha? Okay, good. So our goal is to prove, you remember that our goal is to, okay. What and all can you see in the figure? Can you just tell me? And the same, it's the unit circle only. Can you explain me what and all you can see in the figure?
So angle X, angle Y, angle minus Y.
Excellent.
So then positive revolution and negative revolution.
Excellent. Superb.
Then different coordinates like P4 is from 0, P1, P2 and P3.
Wonderful. Excellent. You got it now. So basically again it's a unit circle only. That means the radius is 1 unit only. And initial, let's say that initial side is OP. Okay. Now OP is doing the revolution. OP is doing the revolution now. So it goes to the OA place. OP, sorry. It goes to the place called OP1. Then from OP1, P1 to it goes to the P2. And from P2 it moves to the P3. Is it okay? So as per the unit circle, we know what are the coordinates. So we know the P4 coordinate is 1, 0. Then whatever the angle x will be, remember, cos of that angle is the x coordinate and sine of that angle will be y coordinate. Correct, no? So P1
Yes.
x coordinate is cos x, comma sine x. Now again the P1 is moved to the place called P2, where the angle covered is x plus y, isn't it? Angle covered is, if we just calculate from the OX, the angle is x plus y. So what will be the x coordinate? X
Yes,
coordinate is cos x plus y. And what will be y coordinate? Sin x plus y. Clear? Now, in the second
Yes,
part, OP is going in the clockwise direction. See, the arrow is basically in the clockwise direction. So that's why there's a negative angle minus y. So y and the negative y. So angle is the same, minus y, correct?
Yes, sir.
But since it's going in the clockwise direction, so that's why the angle is negative. Now OP is going towards the OP3. So angle covered is what? Minus y. So x-axis coordinate will be cos of minus y, and y coordinate will be sine of minus y. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Super. Now,
So won't it be x plus y plus of minus y?
x plus y of which one?
So
Uh,
so when it goes to like 3, then it covers like x plus y plus and then plus of minus y, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. That entire thing is 360 degree only. Entire angle is 360 degree, but we are not going that. We are just, see, OP is going and stopping at, P2. Okay. And OP is going in the clockwise direction and stopping at P3. So that the angle y is equal to angle minus y, because one, it moved from the P1 to P2, the angle covered is y. So similarly that angle is covered in the clockwise direction from the P4 to P3.
So when P4 is going, so when P4 is going to P1 and P2, then it's going in
Correct.
anti-clockwise direction with positive
Yes,
symbol.
positive angle.
And then when OP is going clockwise direction to P3, then it's minus.
Yes. Yes. Clear?
Yes.
Excellent. So figure is clear to you? Any questions in the figure? No problem. Perfect. Now what we will do is we'll join the P1 and the P3. We'll join P1 and P3 and we'll join P2 and P4. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Now can you prove the congruency between
Yes, sir.
the triangle O, P1, P3 and O, P2 and P4?
So can you repeat the triangles?
Yeah, I want the triangles you want to prove is P1O P3 and P2O P4. We need to prove the congruency in that. Let's prove the congruency.
So can we say that OP4 is equal to OP1
Yeah, it's a radius.
or OP2?
Yeah, why not?
Then so we have two sides as equal as radius.
Correct?
That is P1 is equal to P2 and P3 is equal to P4.
Correct? Yeah, can I say that P1O, P3 also will be equal to P2O, P4?
So the angle.
Yeah. Why? Check. I just give that angle as X and then this one. Can I say both angles are same now? That angle also will be Y plus Z. Here it will be also Y plus Z only. Numerically both the angles will be the same. Forget about the rotation sign right now. Minus Y. So the total angle is Y only. Here also Y plus Z. There also it's Y plus Z. Angle P1O P3 is also Y plus Z. And angle P2O P4 is also Y plus Z.
So we'll not consider the sign, right?
Yeah, will not consider the sign because numerical absolute values will consider. Because angle is same, no? You go in the clockwise direction, anti-clockwise, that way the angle
Yes,
will change. But we are not algebraically, we are not adding the angles right now. We are just comparing the angles. Got it? So which congruency?
So SAS.
Excellent. Understood now? So with SAS, then can I say that,
Yes.
P1, P3 is equal to P2, P4, CPCD?
Yes, sir.
Got it? Now,
Yes, sir.
so we can say that P1, P2 are equal, CPCD. That is what your goal. Now, you know the distance formula, you have learnt it. So you know the coordinates. Can you find the P1, P2 whole square should be equal to P2, P4 whole square? Use the distance formula, coordinate geometry, distance formula. What is P1, P2 whole square?
So what do you have to find?
We need to find distance P1, P2 whole square. You remember the distance formula, root x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square?
Yes, sir. So the whole under root. Yes.
Yeah, so since we are taking the square, so root will go off. Got it, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, try that. Okay, we are done this part. 12.11. 12.12 also clear this part? Yeah, first one.
A bit confusing. Second one.
First one is confusing? Okay, no problem. Let's understand the first one. 12.11. A part, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now here in the, you have the sulfur combined with the CH3 now. So there is a single bond between this. So what we is taking that hydrolytic cleavage means what? Unequal sharing of the electrons. So sulfur
Yeah.
anyway sulfur was sharing the electrons with methyl group, the carbon atom. Now he takes the one electron, both the electrons from the carbon and put it in the sulfur only. So that develops a slight negative charge. And the carbon looks like carbon has given the electron to the sulfur. So that's why carbon develops the plus sign on it. So that's the carbocation happened here on the methyl carbon atom. So that's why plus sign on the carbon atom. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Now second part is clear, no? Second part you got clear, right?
There.
Okay, only the first part was the heterolytic cleavage which is happening here. So that's why we are showing the with the one single arrow. That means both the electrons shared between the carbon and the sulfur is going to the sulfur, because sulfur is more electronegative. So it takes both the electrons to itself and develops a slight negative charge, and the carbon develops a slight positive charge. So that's why the carbocation happened there.
Okay.
Clear? Good.
Yes, sir.
Now go to the giving justification categories. Give justification
Before
categories.
that, only a few of them are confusing. Few of them I don't know where to place them.
Achha, where to place? Okay. Where to place this one? In the second part you're telling?
Where to place? Yeah, in the second one. I don't know where to place BF3, CH3 full thrice,
Okay.
and with two lone pairs, with the lone pair and
Okay, good.
yeah, that's
Fine.
it.
Okay, got it, no problem. So basically, let's try to understand this part. So nucleophiles, when we say the nucleophiles, so basically more, we have the HS minus 1, sulfide minus 1. So minus these basically have the unshared pair of electrons which can be donated with the shared with the electrophile. Now, so HS minus, whichever the negative has, they have the extra pair of electrons added. So where it can give it to it? It can only give it to the nucleus which is having the positive charge. Correct?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's negative charge. That means negative charge means most number of electrons. So more electrons will be shared with the nucleus which has the positive charge. That means it is devoid of some of the electrons. So this can be shared to that. So that's why these are the nucleophiles, because they are the nucleus loving things. Because they have more electrons to it, they can easily attack there and then they can form easily bond with the nucleus. So HS minus 1, C2O5, C2H5O minus 1, again they have more electrons. CH3 whole thrice and minus, again they have the more electronegative it is, the more either they should have the lone pair of electrons or should have the negative charge. That is only two things you need to notice. And why it is that? Because nitrogen has a two lone pair of electron. Again CH3 H2N, again two lone pair of electrons. So it can easily attack the nucleus. And that's why it's called the nucleophiles. Clear?
Yeah.
Understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Electrophiles. Why electrophiles? Because BF3. So now boron trifluoride. Boron again becomes, it can actually take the electrons now. It can still form the BF6 now. Got it, no? So fluorine both are electronegatives. So they can attract the electrons more. So they can attract they are just electrophiles now. They can attack the nucleus which has the more electrons in it. And they can take the electrons from the nucleus. Got it? Cl plus.
Yes, sir.
So Cl plus, because it has to take the electrons. So it will attack the nucleus which has the more electrons in that. So CH3 C plus. C plus again less of electrons. He wants more electrons. It can attack that nucleus. Got it? Again N plus O2. So it is going to attack from the nitrogen side, because it wants the electrons. Because now plus sign means it has no electrons right now. It has given one electron to it, somebody. So it needs one electron. So that's why it can attack the nucleus, which has the more electron. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Excellent. Do the 12.13 now. Let's do that.
And 12.13,
Yeah.
it's all the carbon with carbon, sir.
Correct.
Like, in the first one is the second carbon,
Yes.
in the second one is the second carbon,
Correct.
and the third one is because dipole moment.
CH3, yeah, correct answer. Yes, excellent. Double bond, perfect. Okay, now let's go to the electron movement in the organic reactions now. What happens in electron movement in the organic reactions now? Now, how does the, okay, draw the figure present shifting of electron pair. First one you draw, when we have a double bond, how does it happens? I'll explain to you, this is okay. So these three bonds formation which is given here, write on that part, then I'll explain you how it is happening here.
Yes, sir.
This you draw it, then we'll try to understand.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, done this part. Okay, now here Y is forming one. See, if you just clearly see here, Y is forming double bond and the single bond. Now it's as good as it's like a resonance to you, because double bond can be broken from there and can be placed in the symmetrical on the right hand side also. So what does it mean? Basically, double bond is a pi bond. Pi bond can be broken and goes to the adjacent bond position. So it forms a single bond, and then it can form to the other bond, other place also. Now, second position, if you just see here, what are the possible from pi? Now, second position, pi bond, one electron, it can come to the Y only. Two electrons can come to the Y, it forms a single bond and still has the two electrons on the top. Two lone pair of electrons on the top. All the possibilities we are showing you now. Third part we see here, from the lone pair of electron, it can actually form again the double bond in the right hand side, and still all the three are equal. So this is how we can represent the electron pair movement in the organic reactions. So any of this can be possible now. Depending on the reaction, we will be talking in terms of all three. All three are possible cases arises. You got it? So change in position of the pair of electrons, curved arrow starts from the point where the electron pair is shifted. So basically, it's the shifting of the electron pairs. Shifting of electron pairs will result in the bond formation, or it can form the lone pair of electrons on the atom itself. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Good. Excellent. Just read out the paragraph and then write down the another example, OH minus and the CH3Br. Then we'll discuss in this part now. Yeah, Tanisha, what answer you got now?
So distance of P1, P3 the whole square I got as 2 minus 2 the whole cos x cos y minus sin y.
Excellent. Perfect.
Sin.
Now you do for the P2, P4 whole square also. Because, and then we'll equate both the. You already done? Good. So you equated both the things now?
No, so I just found like P1, P3 the whole square and P2, P4 the whole square.
Now you equated, because we know as per the congruency we proved that these two length has to be same. As per the congruency we
so even the square.
Yes, both square has to be equal, isn't it? Because just now we proved the two triangles are congruent and now we'll see how it is now. So basically, once you equate it, we'll see what you get it now. Yeah, Vijay. Done? You have written the reaction, Vijay? The OH minus plus CH3Br gives you CH3OH plus Br minus.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we are directly representing the OH minus. We are directly representing, instead of base we can directly put the NaOH. We are representing the OH minus ions here, so it is having this is acting as a nucleophile, correct?
Yeah.
Now look what happens now in this case. Whatever we studied right now, we'll try to understand this part. So in the in this reaction, whatever you wrote, so you have a substrate is CH3Br, you have reagent is the OH minus. Now the bond between the carbon and the bromine is more electronegative. So as per the arrow, you see the fish hook arrow, which says that from this bond, both the pairs of electrons bromine takes and develops a negative charge, and the carbon acquires a positive charge. So carbon becomes a nucleus which is having the positive charge and which has the less number of electrons now. And since the nucleophile is the OH minus here, so OH minus means more number of electrons, so it can attack the positive nucleus of the carbon. So that's what it is doing that, and it can form the bond with the CH3. Got it? So here nucleophile is OH minus ion, and your CH plus is the carbocation ion, and CH plus ion is there in the methyl group. So it attacks there and forms the bond with CH3 forms methanol, and the Br minus will come out. Clear?
Yes, okay.
And second one is the homolytic one. Homolytic is very simple. Homolytic basically equal sharing of that now. So CH, one electron goes, both having the one lone pair of electrons now. Clear? So this is just arrow showing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now electron displacement effects in the covalent bonds now. Okay, so here what is saying now, the electron displacement in an organic molecule may take place in the ground state under the influence of the atom or a substituent group in the presence of the appropriate attacking reagent. The electron displacement due to the influence of the atom or the substituent group present in the molecule cause a permanent polarization of the bond, and the inductive effect and the resonance effects are examples of the types of the electron displacements. Temporary electron displacement effects are seen in the molecule when the reagent approaches to attack it, and this type of electron displacement is called the electrometric effect or the polarizability effect. So now we are just telling you because this electron displacement affects in the covalent bond. So whenever there is a substrate and the reagent comes in the picture, because of the presence of the attacking reagent, the possibility of the electron displacement happens. That's why we have seen that OH minus ion plus CH3Br, how the position of the electrons is changing. Got it?
Yeah.
It's just because of the attacking reagent. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the inductive effect. Now, how the inductive effect will happen? Let's draw the figure first. CH3, CH2, Cl. Okay. 1 degree, 2 degree, we'll try to understand the carbocation. But just once you read out this paragraph of the before the equation, then I will tell you. CH3, CH2, Cl. Just write on this part. Double negatives are double delta positive, one delta positive, and then one delta negative. Try it out. Write on this part, then we'll try to understand.
Yeah.
Done, Tanisha. What's the answer you got?
Sir, what is cos x plus y is equal to cos x cos y minus sin x sin y?
Excellent. So this is what we started with, isn't it? We wanted to prove this.
Yes, sir.
So in the place of x, you can write a. In the place of y, you can write b. So it becomes a cos a plus b formula. So cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. So this formula you need to remember that part. Correct? Now just replace the y with, in this formula, just replace y with minus y now.
So x will be same, right?
X, keep X same only. So it will become, just replace Y with minus Y. So that will become a cos X minus Y formula. So what will become? Cos X, cos of minus Y, minus sin X, sin
So
of
cos
minus
x
Y.
minus,
Yes,
so cos x minus y is equal to cos x cos y
correct?
minus minus sin x into minus sin y, which
Okay.
is minus sin x sin y.
Correct. So minus into minus become plus.
Yes, sir.
Because you know that cos of negative angle is cos only. Sine of negative angle is minus sin y. Correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. So you got two formulas now. Cos A plus B and cos A minus B. Got it, no? So
Yes, sir.
cos A minus B is, there is a difference of only positive and negative sign only. Rest everything is same. Cos A plus B is negative, cos A minus B is positive. So that's how that way you can remember it. Correct?
Okay, sir.
Cos 90 minus theta is equal to sin, that you have already done in the previous classes, so no need to. Let's go to the sin x plus y now. Yeah? We'll try with the phi. So we already got a cos A plus B, right? Now we'll try it with the sin A plus B now. Correct?
Yes,
Now our goal is to find the value of sin x plus y. How to do the sin x plus y? Let's try to understand. Got it? Our goal is to find a sin A plus B or sin x plus y. So sin x plus y can be written as, you remember the sin theta is equal to cos 90 minus theta? You have done this part, right?
Yeah.
So sin x plus y can be written as cos pi by 2 minus x plus y.
So can you repeat?
Okay, so you know the sin theta is equal to cos
So I know that.
yeah. So
Yes, sir. Complementary angle.
yes, you got it. So can I write the sin x plus y as cos 90 minus theta?
Yes, sir.
Can I write like this? Sin theta, x plus y is assumed as theta. And then cos 90 minus theta then, x plus y, correct?
So the theta is x plus y, right?
Yeah, theta is x plus y. Correct, no? Now,
Yes, sir.
assume the term pi by 2 is a and x plus y as b. So can you expand the formula? Just now you did cos x minus y formula, cos a minus b formula.
Yes, sir.
And cos 90, you know already what it is. Cos 90 is 0. Expand it.
Yes, sir.
No need to expand cos 90 minus theta, so you can just group it basically, because we don't know the cos x plus y, so you can just group it. It will be easy for you to you group the cos pi by 2 minus x minus y. That will be easy for you, because we can use the complementary angle formula here. Cos 90 minus theta, you group it minus y. So got it, no? It actually as good as the same thing only. So pi by 2 minus x can be a, y can be b. So it becomes the formula of cos a minus b. Clear? Understood this part?
So we don't have to expand in the first stage where we write pi by 2 minus x plus y.
Yeah. No, that you don't expand, because again it will come in the form of cos x plus y only. So our goal is to find in the form of x and y separate. So but pi by 2 minus x can be used as the complementary angle formula. Got it? No?
Yes, sir.
So use the pi by 2 minus x as one term and y as another term. So it comes in the formula of cos a minus b formula. Correct?
Yes, sir. So now we expanded at this stage, right?
Yes, now you can expand in this stage. Yes.
So we get like cos y by 2 minus cos x and then minus cos y.
Correct. Yes, so you will get something like that. Cos of pi by 2 minus x. Huh?
So here the a is pi by 2 minus x and b is minus y, right?
B is y, correct. Yeah, Vijay, you written now this part?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So, example, inductive effect. What is the inductive effect happens now? You know? So, just now, in the presence of any of the attacking agent, there is a shifting of the electrons will happen. You know? So, the density of the electrons will move towards one end, and then results in the formation of the polarity change. That means developing a slight negative charge and developing a slight positive charge, right? So that's what the polar covalent bond will happen now. An unequal sharing of the electrons will starts happening. So now look at this example. When you're talking about the example of, you have written the chloroethane now, CH3 CH2Cl, you know. Now in this case, we already know the CCl bond is a polar covalent. What is polar covalent? Because Cl is a highly electronegative element, and then it takes all the electrons basically which was shared between the carbon and the chlorine towards itself. So basically that's the arrow, you see the arrow mark here towards the chlorine which is going on. It means all the electrons is moving towards the chlorine. So chlorine attracts both electron which is shared in the bond towards itself, so resulting in developing a slight negative charge. Clear?
Okay.
Because it's as good as chlorine is gaining the electron from the carbon atom, so it develops a slight positive charge. We are talking about the covalent bond only. In the covalent bond only this is happening. Inside the covalent bond, it is showing some properties of the ionic bond, some ionic characteristics being shown here. Got it? So that's why we put it at delta negative charge. It's not the total plus minus, or delta negative, because slight negative charge. And CH2 is what happening. The carbon develops a slight delta positive charge now. The electron density is more towards the chlorine now. Got it? And the carbon develops a slight positive charge. When the carbon develops a slight positive charge, what happens? This is the first carbon atom, So now it develops a slight positive charge in this case. Now what happens? It draws some electron density towards it from the adjacent CC bond now. Now since this part CH3, which is the second carbon atom, is, first is called the, you remember the first carbon atom which is connected is also called the alpha carbon atom. Second carbon atom which is connected is called the beta carbon atom. Okay, that's why we're showing is 1 and 2. So now since the first carbon atom develops a slight positive charge, it starts to attract the electrons from the other carbon atom, which because it also has the bond with the another carbon atom. Got it?
Yeah.
So because of that, because again the shift in the the movement of electron density towards the carbon from the CC bond, the second carbon atom develops a delta positive charge. Because delta means very slight charge. The strength of this charge is minimum, so that's as compared to the strength of the charge in the carbon. Did you understand this part?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Good. Such polarization of the sigma bond caused by the polarization of the adjacent sigma bond is referred to as the inductive effect. So basically this is called the inductive effect. What is the inductive effect? Because the moment carbon develops a slight positive charge, it starts to attract the electrons from the other carbon-carbon bond. Because this effect is passed on to the subsequent bonds. That's why it's called the inductive effect. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Now this effect is passed to the subsequent bonds, and Also, but the effect decreases rapidly as the number of intervening bonds increases and becomes vanishingly small after the 3 bonds, and the inductive effect is related to the ability of substituent to the other either withdraw or donate the electron density to the attached carbon atom. Based on this ability, the substituents can be classified as electron withdrawing or electron donating groups relative to the hydrogen. Now, basically, this gives rise to the 2 or more, factors now. What is called the electron withdrawing, another is called the electron donating groups relative to the hydrogen. So methyl group is basically electron donating group, and there are some groups which are the electron withdrawing group also. So again, the new concepts you are going to learn now in this, because now we are just showing that it is with the CH3 group, but it can be some other group. It can be NO2 group, it can be COH group, it can be cyanide group, it can be anything. So depending on that, there is the inductive effect starts happening now. Understood this part? So write down this, all the electron, write on this part now, the electron withdrawing and electron donating groups. So what are those electron withdrawing and the electron donating group? Because with this we need to remember this part. This part, write down the characteristic. Yeah. Okay, what answer you got, Tanisha? Sin x plus y is what answer you got?
So I got sin x cos y plus cos x sin y.
Excellent. So sin a plus b is sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. Now substitute the y as the minus y now. In this formula, substitute the y as negative y now. So it will become sin x minus y formula. Correct?
So we have to use 90 minus theta 1, right?
No. Whatever the formula you got, you derived the formula sin x plus y is equal to sin x cos y plus cos x sin y. Correct? No?
Yes, sir.
In that formula only, in this formula only, substitute y as minus y. So it will become sin x minus y formula, no?
Okay, sir.
You don't have to solve again separately. Just put negative of y. Because cos of negative y is what? Cos only. Sin of negative y is minus sin y. Just substitute the negative sign will come. Understood this part?
Yes, sir. So I'm getting sin x cos y minus cos x
Sin y.
sin y.
Excellent. So this is the formula you need to remember. Okay, make it in the box. Enter this formula in the box and you need to remember this part. Okay. Now I want you to tell something important. This formula, cos 90 plus theta and sin 90 plus theta. This I want to tell you. Because this formula I'll directly tell from this part only. From the figure only it can be very clear to you. So let's focus on this formula first. Sin pi by 2 plus x. Now look at the unit circle now which you have.
Yes, sir.
In the unit circle, pi by 2 is which? So y-axis is pi by 2. Let's go in the anti-clockwise direction. Pi by 2 is y-axis. Figure 3.14 only.
Yeah.
From OP basically you go to the y-axis is pi by 2. Pi by 2 plus x. Pi by 2 plus x means it is it's coming in the second quadrant, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So sin pi by 2, always remember that whenever the complementary angle comes 90 plus something, the sign will change to cos, cos will change to sin. Secant will change to cosec, cosec will change to secant. Tan will change to cot, cot will change to tan. Just like your sin 90 minus theta is cos theta, cos 90 minus theta is sin theta. Got it, no?
Yes, sir.
And since the angle is coming in second quadrant, you know which is positive in the sine, which is positive in second quadrant? Sine and cosec.
So sin.
Yes. So sin 90 plus theta will be cos x because it is complementary, and it is positive sign because it is coming in the second quadrant. Second quadrant sign is positive. Clear? Any questions, any doubts?
So can you repeat it?
Sine 90 plus theta, sine 90 plus x is equal to cos x. First, sine 90 plus x is coming in second quadrant, so it's a complementary. Anything 90 plus x is complementary, so the sign is changing to cos. And since it is coming in second quadrant, sign is positive, so that's why plus cos x.
Okay.
Similarly, cos 90 plus x, cos complementary 90 plus x will be sin x. Cos is negative in the second quadrant, that's why minus sin x. Understood? Understood? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now we'll go to the supplementary.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now I'll tell you about the supplementary. Supplementary, you remember that this will not change. Supplementary, sine will remain sine, cos will remain cos only. Now it's just based on the sign convention only. Now.
And tan.
Yes. Tan also will remain the tan only. Only thing what will change is the sign. Now let's go to the cos pi minus x. Pi minus x means, you know, it's coming in the second quadrant, isn't it? Because cos 180 is basically what? Cos 180 is in the second, you know, on the x-axis, second quadrant. So pi minus x is
Yes.
in second quadrant. So cos is negative, so that's why minus cos x. Sine is positive in the cos second quadrant, that's why it's clear. Any questions, any doubts?
So can you explain like sine pi minus x is equal to sine x?
Yeah. Yes. So sine pi minus x will be what? Sine 180 minus x. So basically sine is coming in the second quadrant. That angle is coming in second quadrant. In that second quadrant only sine and cosec is positive. So that's why sine x. And since it's called a supplementary angles, because 180 minus theta or 180 plus theta is called the supplementary. So supplementary means
so
sine.
But here.
Yeah, tell me.
So but here it says that sine pi minus x, so it's negative x. So how is it coming like second quadrant?
Oh, okay. So pi minus x, okay. So x can be assumed that right now we are just discussing, okay. See, pi is positive, no?
Yes, sir.
We are going in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Going in anti-clockwise direction, and x value is basically some angle which is, some angle we are subtracting from the 180 degree. You go in that, go towards x and then come back towards the, come back whatever the angle is subtracted out of 180 degree. Got it? So that's why it is coming in second quadrant. Not with the negative x I am talking here. You go to the 180 degree in the anti-clockwise direction, and then there's some angle we are subtracting from the 180. So anything when you subtract from 180, between the 90 to 180, it will come with the, between the 90, it will come to the second quadrant only.
Yes, sir.
Unless you are subtracting more than 90. Then it will come in first quadrant. And
So
first
can you explain
yeah.
sine 90 plus x is equal to x again?
Okay. See, sine 90 plus x. So you remember the sine 90 minus theta is what?
So cos theta.
Excellent. Sine 90 plus, so sine, any complementary angle, sine will change to cos, cos will change to sine, tan will change to cot. Remember that, this part? Even it is plus or minus. Now,
Yes, sir.
now we need to understand about the positive and negative signs here. So sine 90 plus theta. 90 plus theta is anyway in the second quadrant because 90 plus something.
Yes, sir.
So second quadrant. In second quadrant, what is positive? Only sine and cosec. All
Yes,
silver
sir.
teacups. So only sine and cosec is
Yes,
constant.
sir.
So sine 90 plus theta. So as per the complementary angle, sine will change to cos. And as per the sine convention in the second quadrant, sine is positive. So that's why plus cos x.
Okay, sir.
Cos 90 plus theta. Cos will change to sine. But cos is negative in the second quadrant. That's why minus sine x. Understood?
Okay, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
This fundamental,
Yes.
you remember it. You'll never go wrong anywhere, anytime. So write down all this part now. Now sine, similarly, can you apply for the cos pi plus x also now, and sine pi plus x? Again, it comes in third quadrant. Try applying that also. Same method. Got it? Try
So when we
applying.
do cos pi plus x, then it comes in the third quadrant. right?
Excellent. Excellent. Third
So it will be
quadrant.
negative cos x.
Excellent.
And when we do pi plus x, then then also it comes in third quadrant, so it will be negative sin x.
Excellent. Got it now. Do for the 2 pi minus x now. Superb. You got it. You got the funda.
Cos 2 pi minus x, that means it's coming in the fourth quadrant. So like the whole circle and then minus.
Absolutely correct.
So the fourth quadrant, cos is positive, so it's cos x.
Yes. Good. Got it.
Fourth quadrant, sine is negative, so it's minus sin x.
Excellent. Clear? Any questions? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Superb. Now find out for the tan x plus y now. Our goal is to find the value of tan x plus y. So we need to get the, so now we got a sin x plus y, cos x plus y. Now our goal is to get the tan x plus y. So change the tan x
So can
plus,
we write as sin plus y and cos x plus y?
yes, of course, and then expand.
And directly use the formula?
Yes, now you got the formula. Now you have to start using this formula. Which you have written that formula now. Now let's go to the exam problem 12.14 now. Let's try to address this part.
Yes, I did 12.14.
Oh, great. Any questions, any doubts in 12.14 now?
No, 12.14 was easy.
Clear, right?
12.15 I don't get it.
Okay, 12 and 15 not getting. In which carbon-carbon bond of the CH3, CH2, CH2Br, the inductive effect is expected to be least. Come on, you got it now. Which will be inductive effect will be least. For remember this 12.15. So answering 12.15, go back to your figure CH3, CH2, Cl, which you drawn. So in this, where is the least inductive effect? On the second carbon atom, right? Because it was this one. So if there is a third carbon atom, that will be much lesser, no? It will be less carbon. Got it, no? You are getting it? So CH3, CH2, Cl. So the carbon atom which is further away from the carbon which is connected to any halogen atom, that will have the very least inductive effect. The more further away from the first carbon atom, the least effective, that least inductive effect it will have.
It will be the third carbon, right?
Yes, you got it. So third carbon atom will be delta, delta positive. Delta positive.
Okay.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
Superb. Now we'll try to understand the resonance structure. The resonance part. What is the resonance part? Resonance structure. There are many organic molecules whose behavior cannot be explained by the single Lewis structure. This example is that of the benzene. Its cyclic structure containing the alternating CC single bond and double bonds shown in the inadequate for explaining its characteristic properties. Now, resonance is the most important part which we are going to learn in this part, because this is the basic of all the organic reactions. Now in the 12th also we'll be talking more of the resonance only. Most of the times we'll be discussing any of the reactions in terms of the resonance. So we need to understand the resonance, properly in this part, right? How do you resonance? Basically, resonance is just a, representation in which we are showing the stability, how the compound becomes stable when it changes in one form to another form, and it's symmetrical. Got it? Now let's draw the figure first. The resonance figures, the benzene resonance structure you draw, then we'll understand that part. Okay, then I'll explain to you this part, then we can do that. Okay, Tanisha, what is the tan x plus y you got?
So tan x plus tan y by 1 minus tan x tan y.
Correct, excellent. So you divided the entire numerator and denominator with cos x cos y, right? Okay, so this is the formula. Fine. Now substitute the y as negative y. Now you get another formula. Make it a box. Okay, tan x plus y is the formula you write. Tan a plus b formula. This is okay. Remember, make it in the box. So we need to remember this formula, and just substitute negative y. You'll get the tan a minus b formula.
So I get as 10x minus 10y the whole divided by 1 plus 10y 10x.
Excellent. Perfect. Now can you do for the cot x plus y? Just the reciprocal. Okay, not reciprocal. Cot x plus y. Let's try to do the cot x plus y.
Yes,
same method. Just like how we did tan x plus y. Same method. Basically we want to represent everything in terms of cot only. Got it? Yeah, let's try to do that. Then we'll do the double angle formula and triple angle formula also, so that we can finish this part. Drawn the figure, Vijay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now you see in the benzene structure we have you can name from anywhere. So 1 2 3, this is run in the anti-clockwise direction. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So between 1 2 we show in the single bond here, then there is a gap, and then double bond, then single bond, double bond, single double. So it doesn't mean that between 1 and 2 it has to be always a double bond. Right, 1 and 2 can have a single bond also. It can alternate. So basically double bond is just rotating in the circle, in the ring structure. Correct? Now we have already found in the benzene experimentally that CC bond distance is 139 picometer. Value intermediate between CC single 154 picometer and C double bond is 134 picometer. Now single bond, what is the distance between the CC bond? 154. Double bond you have distance 134. Now in the benzene you find that the structure as per this one between C bond, there is distance between the CC bond and 139. So how do you represent that? It is coming 139 is coming between the single bond and the double bond. So benzene is basically represented, all the bonds is basically different now in there. No, it's the same basically. The bond length is 139. But how do you represent the 139 now? Because single bond is representing as 139, double single bond is 154 and double bond is 134. So we have to represent how the bond can be represented now. If you represent the single bond, it is going lesser than the 154. If you represent double bond, it is going above the 134. So that's the reason we are representing in the symmetrical form. That's the reason we are representing in the symmetrical form. Or you can make a dotted circle inside that. That becomes the resonance structure, which we have done it earlier. So 1 and 2 are basically called the resonance structure because this is stabilized because of like this. So basically what we are trying to say is the single bond is and the double bond is basically rotating in the entire in the ring. It's rotating in the entire end at any instant of time when you take it. It's basically the average of all the single and the double bonds. So it has to come as a 139 picometer.
Okay.
Understood? Clear?
Yes, understood. Yes, clear.
Okay, excellent. So the resonance structure is also called the canonical structure of contributing a hypothetical individually do not represent any real model. So basically these are all the hypothetical thing we are talking about. You know? But as everything, as the electron, proton, nucleus, everything is hypothetical, but it works. Correct? So hypothetical is because it becomes a principle. Anyway, nobody has seen this part, but as per the hypothetical thing, that becomes the law finally, right? So that becomes because with that method you can explain a lot of things, so a lot of existence it can be explained. So that's why it has the practical applications of it. Understood this part?
Yes, understood.
Good. Now another example, right on this example now, CHNO2. This example is also a very famous example of nitromethane. This is how the stability is there. So not only benzene, there are not many other compounds which can show the resonance structure in the organic compounds. We will be dealing with a lot of organic compounds which shows the resonance. Now draw for the nitromethane now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Tanisha, you got for the cot x plus y?
Yes, so I got cot x, cot y minus y, the whole divided by cot y minus cot x.
Cot y plus cot x. Cot x minus y you did or cot x plus y you did?
So, 1 second.
Cot x plus y denominator should
So
be
I got
caused.
x cot, it's positive, cot y plus cot x.
Okay, correct. Okay, and cot x minus cot y, cot x minus y, you got denominator negative, right?
So there I'm getting a problem.
Okay, tell me, what's the problem?
When I replace like x plus y as minus y, so I get cot x into cot of minus y and then minus 1, the whole divided by cot of minus y minus cot x, right?
Correct. No problem. So what is...
So then will it...
Okay.
So then what like the step after that?
Okay, what are our steps? Okay, let's try to do that. So basically what you get is cot x into cot y. So cot of negative y will be equal to minus cot y, correct?
Yes, sir.
Next, cot y is negative minus cot y in the down also.
Yes, sir.
So now,
Yes, sir.
in the numerator you got is minus cot x cot y minus 1. Denominator you got is minus cot y plus cot x. So take the minus common from the numerator and the denominator and cancel.
So I get is cot x, cot y, minus, and minus is common, and then cot x, cot y plus 1.
Correct.
Or divided by minus cot y plus cot x.
Wrong. It is plus cot x was there. It should be cot y minus cot x, no? Because minus you are taking common. Is your cot x plus y formula correct? So that's, I think somewhere, if cot x plus y is correct, then it will be...
Cot y minus...
No, it was cot y plus cot x. So that's where it went wrong.
So after changing that, I got the final result is cot x, cot y plus 1 divided by cot y minus cot x.
The denominator part is wrong for you. In the, which one you got? In the cot x minus y formula or cot x plus y
yes,
formula?
Sir.
That's correct, no? Then you got correct. Okay, cot x minus y, you got correct answer then. If you got cot x plus cot y, cot x into cot y plus 1 by cot y minus cot x is the correct answer.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now let's go to the double angle formula now. So you got a sin a plus b formula, right? And cos a plus b formula.
Yes.
So let's try it using cos a plus b formula first. Cos x plus y formula. Cos x plus y. Write down cos x plus y formula and put y is equal to x.
So cos x plus y formula.
Yeah.
Which is cos x cos y minus sin x sin y.
Yes. Put y as x. So it will become cos of 2x then. So we'll derive the formula for cos 2 theta now and sin 2 theta.
So
Yeah.
I'm getting as cos 2x is equal to cos x square minus sin x square.
Excellent. Cos square x minus sin square x you are getting.
So can I write minus sin square x as cos x square minus 1?
Yeah, of course you can write. Yes. Yeah, you write down. You'll keep on getting the different formulas. So now these are all the same formulas, same formula but different way to represent. So cos 2x can be represented as cos square x minus sin square x, or 2 cos square x minus 1, or 1 minus 2 sin square x.
So I'm getting cos 2x also equal to 1.
Wrong. How are you doing? Cos 2x cannot be equal to. Cos 2x should be equal to. No, so sin square x, what did you change?
So I got cos x square minus sin x square.
Correct.
And then I wrote it as cos x square minus and bracket cos square x minus 1.
Oh no, sin square x is 1 minus cos square x, not cos square x minus 1.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Vijay, done for resonance for second nitromethane now.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay, now in this case, now look at this part. This benzene structure we need to understand now. Now, yeah. In this part, N, nitrogen, basically you will see here, there is a double bond with oxygen and there is a single bond with the oxygen.
Yeah.
Got it? Now, what does it mean here? So basically, one electron nitrogen is shared with the oxygen, and the 2 electrons which are shared with the oxygen atoms. So oxygen forms a double bond. So basically, two electrons is shared with this part. Correct, no?
Yes, sir.
And one it shares with the, see, because if you just see here, nitrogen is forming the 4 bonds with the 1 carbon, 2 oxygens. But generally, nitrogen can form only 3 bonds, isn't it? But it has only 2 lone pair of electrons. Correct? So now this down oxygen has a slight, you see the negative charge is there on the below oxygen. So that means the oxygen has taken the electron from lone pair of electrons which from the nitrogen and develops the negative charge. And nitrogen, because of that, nitrogen forms a positive charge on it. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, in the second figure, if you see here, similar thing, since this is a resonance structure, the bond between the nitrogen and oxygen will show the different value. Neither in comes in the single bond, it comes between the single bond and the double bond. So that's why you see between nitrogen and oxygen, again, whatever it was happening here, the oxygen is sharing the oxygen, basically is giving one electron to the nitrogen again, because nitrogen develops a positive charge, and there is a double bond which is formed in the down oxygen atoms. So double bond is basically shifting between the both of the oxygen atoms.
Okay.
Because it's symmetrical canonical representation. So it can happen, whatever is happening in the double bond happening in the first carbon oxygen atom can happen to the second oxygen atom also. Whatever happening in the negative charge in the one oxygen atom can happen to the other oxygen atom also. So again they are the hybrid, they are the resonance hybrid now. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it now? Clear?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Good. So energy of actual structure of the molecule of the resonance hybrid is lower than that of any other canonical structure. The difference in energy between the actual structure and the lowest energy resonance structure is called the resonance stabilization energy, or simply the resonance energy. Now,
Sir?
yeah. What is that?
So the chapter is over, sir.
Over, huh? Good. Any questions, any
Yeah.
doubts in that?
Yeah. No, sir, everything is easy on it.
Okay.
All same on it.
Yeah, which you have already studied that part only.
All FTP, TCP/IP, everything we've learned before.
Yeah. Superb, sir.
So we're close for now.
Okay, sir. No problem. I'll close now. Okay, sir.
Sir, what time will you be having class from?
3 o'clock.
Okay, sir, I'll join at 3 then.
Okay, fine. No problem. 3 o'clock. Fine. Yeah. So now write on this definition: resonance stabilization energy. The energy of the actual structure of the molecule, the resonance hybrid, is lower than that of the canonical structure, and the difference in energy between the actual and the lowest structure is called the resonance stabilization energy, and simply called the resonance energy. This part is important because whatever resonance energy we are talking about is this only, resonance stabilization energy, because there is so much energy is going to the stabilization of this part, and actual structure is always less, because anything which is already stable, it will be having the less energy level. That is the fundamental. Got it now? Okay, just read out this paragraph, this part, and yeah, let's finish the reading this part, because it's the same thing only we discussed right now. Okay, Tanisha, where are you now? Your cos 2x, what is the value you got? 3 values.
So I got like value, but I didn't get that step, like cos square x minus sin square x divided by cos square x plus sin square
Correct.
x.
So then now divide.
So I didn't.
Yeah, divide the numerator by cos square x and divide the denominator also with cos square x.
No, I didn't get that part itself. Like how they are written as cos square x minus sin square x
By cos square.
divided
Okay.
by cos square x.
See, what is the first identity in which you learned in the previous class? Cos square theta plus sin square theta is 1 only, no?
Yes, sir.
So denominator 1 we are just putting in terms of cos square x plus sin square x, because that is anyway 1. But the whole goal is to convert into tan. So now you divide the numerator and denominator with cos square x, you will get the in terms of tan.
Okay, sir.
You getting? Any questions, any doubts in this?
No, sir.
So basically cos 2x you have you derive the multiple formulas in that. So anyway, in any of the form you can represent the cos 2x, right? Or cos
Yes,
2 theta. So this is what we need to remember. Cos 2 theta in terms of cos and sine, it is cos square x minus sin square x. In terms of only cos x, it is 2 cos square x minus 1. Or in terms of only sin x, it will be 1 minus 2 sin square x. Or in terms of only tan thing, then it will be 1 minus tan square x by 1 plus tan square x. So this becomes a new formula for you. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Similarly, can you do for sin 2x also now? Sin 2x also, let's say the sin 2x also. Same method, sin x plus y formula, put y as x. You will get the sin 2x formula,
Okay.
and express in terms of tan also, that also. Yeah, that
Okay.
should be fine. And then we can do for tan 2x also, same thing, x plus y. So tan x plus y formula you derived, put y as x. Till here you do that,
Okay, sir.
till tan x to x. Then we'll do the sin 3x, cos 3x, tan 3x. That I'll tell you separately this part.
Okay.
Yeah, which you have done. You have written this part now. Resonance stabilization. Have
Yes,
you done? Okay, good, excellent. Now, other part is resonance structures. They have the same position of the nuclei and the same number of unpaired electrons. Among the resonance structure, the one which has the number of covalent bonds, more number of covalent bonds, all the atoms with the octet of electrons except the hydrogen, which has duplet, less separation of opposite charges, negative charge if any on the more electronegative atom, a positive charge if any on more electropositive atom, and more dispersal of charge is more stable than the others. So basically what we are saying is that when this resonance, why do we say resonance is more stable? Because there is a equal sharing of the negative and the positive charge happens across the atoms. Got it? So that's why it becomes stable, no? Because otherwise stability will not happen if only one charge, it has only one negative charge and only one positive charge. Then there is possibility breaking of the bond is easier. But when the charge is spread, charge is basically rotating in the structure, then it's difficult. Then it becomes, anyway it is in the lowest energy level, so it is in the stabilized structure now. Understood this part?
Yeah.
Good. Now let's go to the problem 12.16 now. Yeah. (12.16, 12.70). Okay, no problem. Tanisha, are you done with this part? Cos 2x. I just sin. Okay, perfect. Sin 2x. You derived 2 sin x cos x, right?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Now you understood why you are dividing with sin square x plus cos square x, right? Because just to get in the form of tan.
Yes, sir.
Because anyways tan, sin square x plus cos square x is 1 only, so we are representing 1 with the this identity.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, Vijay. So did you understand for the resonance structure of CS3CO minus acetate ions, how the movement of electrons will be curved arrows now? Just draw the structure of this part and then I'll explain to you what is happening in this. So again we are showing the resonance between the acetate ions now.
I'm done.
Done this part? Okay. So tan 2x. Okay, good, excellent. So you got a sin 2x value is what is value? 2 tan x by 1 plus sin square x.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Can you quickly do for the tan x plus y formula also? Substitute tan 2x also.
So I did that. Okay, 260 instead.
Tan 2x also did? Excellent. What's the answer you got for tan 2x?
So 2 tan x divided by 1 minus 10 square x.
Excellent, perfect. Now similarly let's do the sin 3x now. Now you derive for the double angle now. 2x sin 2x value you remember now. Now we'll do for the sin 3x also now. So sin 3x means 3x can be represented as
Sin
2x plus x. I know 2x plus
Yes,
x.
sir.
Yeah, because and now 2x plus x can be put in the form of a plus b, sin a plus b formula.
Okay, sir.
Try it out. Sine 3x can be represented as sine of 2x plus x now. And apply the...
So here my 2x and b will be x.
Yes. 2x is a,
Okay, sir.
b is x. Yes. And apply the sine a plus b formula.
Okay, sir.
And do that now. And express everything in terms of the sine only.
Okay, sir.
Puja, you written now? SAT times?
So I'm done with 12.6.
12 and 16.
I don't get 12.7. 12.16 I'm done.
12 and 16 you're done? Okay. Perfect. You're clear with 12 and 16, right? Any questions, any doubt in 12 and 16?
Yes, sir.
No problem.
No,
Okay.
sir. This is just like that example.
Yeah, that's example. 12 and 17, yeah. 12 and 17 is important one. Try resonance structure with the CH2, CH, CHO now. In this case, what's happening now? So first carbon atom. This is the functional group is aldehyde now, CHO. Yeah? So CHO is aldehyde now. So we have shown that the double bond is first structure is the double bond between the carbon and the oxygen now. Now since because of that there are four electrons in the oxygen, which is the lone pair of electrons now. Next part we are seeing here is the carbon is basically showing the single bond with the oxygen, and oxygen takes the electron from the carbon now. Since the double bond electrons, the one pair of electrons, oxygen takes it and develops a slight negative charge. Correct, no?
Yeah.
Because why it is that? Because it forms a single bond with carbon, so it has one electron extra, so that's why negative charge is there on the oxygen now. Now carbon has to form the tetravalent bond, right? 4 bonds it has to show. So basically it forms the double bond with the next carbon atom. So next carbon atom it forms a double bond. So what happens now? The carbon tetravalency is satisfied for this second carbon atom. But the third carbon atom, what happens? It gives the electron to this carbon atom, because it was a double bond. It was here, first carbon atom is the third carbon atom had the double bond with this carbon atom. So basically carbon develops a slight positive charge, because it has given the electron to the carbon. It has, the carbon has taken the electron from this third carbon atom, and carbon develops a slight positive charge. So this carbon tetravalency is done. But at the same time, what happens? Oxygen becomes the negative and the carbon becomes the positive charge. Clear this part or not?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Next, in this, not only in the part, now carbon has developed positive charge. Now other possibility can exist is also that oxygen can develop the positive charge. When oxygen can form the single bond, by oxygen also can give the electron to carbon now. Carbon can form the double bond between the CH now. And then CH can develop the negative charge in this two carbon atoms. So all the possibilities of the three things are happening now. So carbon can form the single bond with oxygen. Oxygen has given the lone pair of electrons to the carbon, so it develops positive charge. The carbon tetravalency is satisfied by forming a double bond with the CH. And CH, what happened now? CH has to form the 4 bonds with all the things one. So because of that, it gives a the bond between this is broken, and then the carbon which develops a negative charge. It means as good as saying that the carbon has taken the electron, because it's a CH2. Can you see the last carbon atom is CH2? CH2 means what?
Yeah.
It has to have one more electron to form complete the tetravalency. So it has to gain the electron. Where it has gained the electron from the bond which is forming a single bond. So that's why a slight negative charge is got it.
Okay.
Understood? So all now you see in all the three structures there is the sharing of the charges which is happening. Positive, negative, all the time positive, negative charges being shared across the atoms of the elements now. Between the carbon and the oxygen, they keep on sharing the positive and the negative charges now. So that's why it becomes the most stable then. Most stable, lower number of covalent bonds, and each carbon and oxygen atom is an octet, and no separation of the positive charge. So negative charge on more electronegative atom and the positive charge on the more electropositive atom. So basically the negative charge on more electronegative atom is nothing but the oxygen. Positive charge on the more electropositive atom is nothing but the carbon only. In the second one, this is the second charge, and third one does not contribute as oxygen as the positive charge and carbon as the negative charge. So basically this third one does not contribute much on the stability part because its opposite thing is happening. Oxygen, which is electronegative, develops a positive charge. Carbon, which is supposed to be electropositive, develops a negative charge. So that is anyway, that way, stability wise, you know, the third part is not so stable because it's going in the opposite, contrary with its electronegativity and the positivity. Clear? So first one is pretty much stable, second one, then the third one. Okay, fine. Sure, I think you take this 12.18 as a part of homework, and then we'll go with the resonance effect with the other compounds, and we'll do that. No? Is it okay? Tanisha, you can take this. You got the answer for sin 3x now?
Sir, I didn't understand like how to further solve like sin 2x cos x plus sin x cos 2x.
Okay, sin 2x formula you remember? It's 2 sin x cos x. You have to substitute that. You know?
Okay, sir.
And cos 2x you have to substitute in terms of sin x. Cos 2x was what formula? 1 minus 2 sin square x. Because we want to put everything in terms of sin.
So sin 2x will be 2 sin x cos x, right?
Excellent.
And then cos 2x will be cos square x minus sin square x.
We don't want cos square x minus sin square x. We want everything in terms of sin x. So you remember cos 2x
So
was
then-
also 1 minus 2 sin square
1
x.
minus 2 sin square x.
Yes, you represent that. So everything in the output should come in terms of sin x.
Okay, sir.
Then you will be able to get the answer. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Sure. I think you can take this as a part of homework now. Tan sin 3x, cos 3x, and tan 3x. In case if you don't understand, then I'll tell you in the next class. Okay? Because we will finish this part. I think we are done with this table, this part. And yeah, these are all the formulas only. After that we'll start with the example problem. Just that try attempting till the the property 20th. I want you to try with
Okay,
this
sir.
by yourself. In case you don't get it, then I'll explain to you. Okay, we'll do that.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Sure. I think let's close it now. We'll continue. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Welcome.